What's going on, guys? Asher with Hidden Profits Crypto here. Before we get into today's video, as usual, I want to give a huge thanks to everybody who's been supporting the channel. We got a lot of new subscribers, so if you're new, welcome. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure to do so. We upload 3, if not more, videos a week. We show a lot of low cap altcoins, hidden gems, and other great projects. So if that sounds interesting to you and you don't want to miss out, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tick the notification bell. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into today's video. All right, so today we're going to be taking a first look at a project called Offshift. Now, Offshift is a DeFi platform, but they call themselves the pioneer of something called PriFi, which is private DeFi. So they actually offer the ability for you to take their native token, the XFT token, and burn it. So that way you can mint these things called zk synthetic assets. And these are basically linked or pegged to the price of the actual asset itself. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So we're going to take a look at the Twitter, the website. We're going to look at the market cap. And then I got a little presentation for you guys, basically to kind of sum up all the information in a more digestible way, because I'm just trying to try some new things with the videos. And at the end, we'll take a quick look at the price. So anyways, let's just go ahead and dive right into it. Okay, so here we are at the Twitter, at OffshiftXFT, pioneering PriFi with the world's first private derivatives platform, one-to-one collateralization, zero slippage, zero liquidations. zkAssets are here. So the link to the website is right here. You can see 7,200 followers, which really isn't much, so still a very new project. But there's a lot of information that they have here on the Twitter. So as usual, I suggest that you guys do your own research and kind of go through and check this out, follow them so you can stay up to date on any news if you are interested in the project. And I want to also refer you guys to their YouTube channel. They have a lot of AMAs. If you just search Offshift, you should be able to find their channel. But they have a lot of AMAs and some other good information on there. So I would also suggest to check that out. But we're going to come over here to the coin market cap. We can see the current price, $18.26, up 14.75%. Current market cap is $82 million, which, like I said, still very, very new. That's not very much. And then 10 million being the total supply. Something, if you guys are regular viewers of the channel, you might notice that this is actually a Ethereum token. And you're probably like, wait, why? You hate Ethereum. And that is true. I'm really not a big fan, but and that's mainly just for the fees. But there's something here. Binance Smart Chain, they're actually bridged, as well as Moonriver, which I'm not exactly that familiar with. I'm not going to act like I am. But my suggestion here is that if you guys are interested in the token, because it has a Binance Smart Chain bridge, go through here so your fees are not out the ass. And yeah. But we'll go a little bit more into that. We're going to do a price analysis, so I don't want to look too much here at this chart. So let's just go ahead and head over to the website and kind of get into all the info. Okay, so offshift.io, private DeFi or PriFi. So that consists of zero knowledge assets, zero knowledge trading, zero knowledge derivatives, and zero knowledge staking. So private derivatives have arrived. Zero knowledge assets. Offshift's proprietary zkAssets compose the world's first line of private on-chain synthetics. Asset diversity. Offshift leverages Chainlink oracles to support private DeFi for a wide array of crypto stocks and commodities. Easy shifting. Convert public assets into private synthetics in a single transaction with XFT. So cross-chain architecture. Users can enjoy Offshift's versatile cross-chain dynamics and benefit from the network that best suit their preferences. The multi-chain vision shared by Parity Technologies and PureStake resonates with our own. As such, we are developing our private derivatives platform on both Ethereum and Moonbeam's EVM-compatible Polkadot parachain. Stress-free trading. Offshift's proprietary shifting mechanism allows users to shift between our native tokens, XFT, and a full palette of zkAssets. And we'll go over what some of those assets are going to be. But one-to-one collateralization, over-collateralization is not capital efficient and unnecessarily limits liquidity access for users. On Offshift, you get what you burn, dollar for dollar, sat for sat. Elastic supply model, that XFT supply self-balances to account for price fluctuations. relegating margin calls and liquidations to nuisances of the past. Zero slippage, no order books, no liquidity concerns, zero slippage. It's that simple, shift stress-free. So rug pull proof DeFi, a platform with hard-coded integrity. At Offshift, we don't mess around with trust, we code it. Our team wallets are fully transparent and vesting rates are slow and gradual. Lockboxes have been secured for on-chain reserves and LP tokens alike, so our users know rug pulling has been coded out. So some documentation here, the white paper, yellow paper, roadmap, and the GitLab. You can find all those right here. The roadmap, I will just go ahead and say, is not very detailed and honestly not very good. I definitely think that is something that they should focus on a little bit more, possibly releasing a new roadmap. I suppose I can just go ahead and show it to you guys. It just talks about, shielded deposit, development implementation, withdrawal contract, some other stuff. And then like for right now, it just says documentation and launch, which the mainnet launch is coming this quarter. So that's great, but I just think they could make this a little bit more, I don't know. There's just not very much information. It doesn't really tell you much, and it's just not set up well. So that is one of the gripes I do have. You guys know I like to try to keep it real here and not fluff up anything. So yeah, but they have some blogs here. You guys can check these out. As usual, do your own research, come here, read through these. There's a lot to learn, a lot to understand about the project. They are very, very up to date with things, which I like teams that are very active and letting people know what's going on. You can see here the last article was Friday, the 14th of January, where they did a dev update. So, there's a lot of info there. But that leads into the team. Now, this is going to be debated because there's a lot of people who just don't mess with any project where the team is anonymous. I can understand it, but crypto it has a lot to do with privacy and being anonymous. That's just kind of crypto's thing. So I don't really exactly understand the need for a docs team. It is helpful. And I mean, I guess really the only way to call it helpful is just so that way, if it is a rug pull, you have somebody to hold accountable. But that's not always the best way to look at these projects. The whole project here is completely based around privacy. So it kind of makes sense to me. But like I said, if that's one of your gripes, maybe this isn't the project for you. But to me, not that big of a deal. And the fact that they have a lot of these blogs and they're very up to date and everything besides the roadmap is pretty professional. That, gives me a little hope there, and I'll pass on the team being anonymous. It's not that big of a deal, at least to me. Again, my opinion. But let's move on from that. So you can get XFT here on these exchanges. They're listed on CoinGecko, and then here's their resources. Their Telegram, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever that is, and whatever this one is. So that's basically it here for the website. I don't want to go too over it because we're going to go over some more stuff in the presentation. So let's just go ahead and head over to that, and we're going to kind of really get into this. All right. So a deeper look into Offshift, zkAssets, no slippage, and most importantly, privacy. So what is a zkAsset? So zkAssets are zero knowledge, which is what the ZK stands for. And these are synthetic assets, which are basically, it's not like an actual, the way a token is set up or an asset is set up. That's a synthetic version of it. So this uses something called zero knowledge proofs. Zero knowledge proofs is a very kind of in-depth thing. So if you're more interested in what it is and you want a deeper understanding, I do suggest that you guys go check it out on your own. There's a lot of videos on YouTube and things on the internet that you can find out about them. But one of the bigger projects was Zcash that kind of brought this into the spotlight. But it basically means that you can prove something without actually giving that data away to basically, prove that you have it. But this can keep data from things like the transaction amounts, wallet owners, kind of that more private information that, you could say links back to you. Think about how it's a public ledger and all that information. You can, just go through the block explorer and look at all of it. So this is keeping things a little bit more private, which is the whole point of the project. These assets are tied to public versions of the assets, and they're pegged to that price. So if you have like zkBTC, it'll just be pegged to the price of Bitcoin, and it's basically being in Bitcoin without actually being in Bitcoin, if that makes sense. So this allows for the same exposure into the assets, but with the privacy of the zk synthetic assets. You might be wondering what zkAssets will be available. So they've announced that the first batch of assets will be zkBTC, ETH, USD, XAU, which is gold, and then XFT, which is their own coin. So those are the zkAssets that will be there, and this list will grow, but for now, this is it. So what is the main vision of Offshift? So from going through a lot of their documentation and even asking some questions in the Telegram, these are kind of the main things, and those videos as well. They give you a lot of info, but the main goal of Offshift is really just to provide an ecosystem of privacy protected DeFi applications. So this isn't going to be just one project. You're basically taking place in a whole ecosystem here. So as more developers come into the space and they develop these DeFi applications, you'll be able to use the zkAssets on these applications for things like lending, borrowing, decentralized exchanges, insurance protocols, NFT apps, and a bunch more things. Basically, whatever people decide to develop. So just think this is its own private enclosed ecosystem that it's all being dealt with these zkAssets or XFT. So how does it kind of work? So basically you're going to be burning the XFT for these zkAssets, and these are pegged 1-to-1 with the real assets, like we said, but this uses Chainlink's Oracle price feeds. So Chainlink Oracle provides exchange rates also when burning the XFT to mint the zkAssets with zero slippage. When you exit the platform, you can burn the zkAssets for an equal amount of XFT. So say you have some XFT, you burn it, you mint it into a, like let's say zkBTC. Let's say Bitcoin goes up a couple grand, and now you want to shift back into XFT. When you go and do that, you're actually going to be burning the zk Bitcoin to mint more XFT, and then you're going to get, so if that difference, say it was you bought in with 10K and now that 10K is worth 11K, you're going to get $11,000 worth of XFT, for example. So with the slippage, no slippage when you're shifting the assets. So basically, to put this for an example, so if you were to swap $1,000 of DAI into XFT, you might end up with like say $950 of XFT. Not your original 1K that you put in, and that's because of the slippage. But if you were to shift from that $1,000 of XFT, so say you have $1,000 of XFT, you want to shift that into zkUSD, then you'd still have $1,000 of zkUSD. So there's no slippage there. What you're putting in is what you're getting out, and the other way around. So the current staking, I wanted to put this in here because I know a lot of people like staking is like one of the biggest things, and it kind of gives a little utility right now for the token before a lot of these projects and developers start making these projects for growing the ecosystem. So 160,000 XFT rewards are what they have back, and that is for LP staking rewards. So those are available, and you can take place in staking on SushiSwap via XFT or the XFT wrapped ETH pairing, or PancakeSwap via the XFT wrapped BNB pairing. So I figured, like I said, I try to keep it real. So let's go into some negatives here before we look at the positives. And that is mainnet launching on Ethereum, and this means high gas fees. I absolutely hate buying or dealing with anything that's on Ethereum because the fees are just horrendous. Everybody knows this. I'm pretty sure it's just like a meme at this point. You could be doing, say, a $50 transaction, paying $100 just for the fees. So that is a very ass backwards thing for me. I've never understood why people even deal with it. So I try to stay away from Ethereum, but I do think this project has a lot of potential, and I don't want to let my biases kind of push that out of the way. So it's a negative here for me, but that's my opinion. Maybe you don't care about the fees, and that's fine. But paying fees when shifting between assets. Now, this is something, again, of a personal gripe that I wanted to bring to attention, because I'm thinking this entire project is really going to be around you shifting between these assets. So you're going to be shifting between XFT to the zkAssets, and from the zkAssets back to the XFT. And I'm assuming that that's going to be a pretty common thing that you're going to be doing, is swapping. And especially when, these DeFi programs, DeFi projects, when they launch, this is going to be a huge part of it. So if you're paying these extremely high gas fees between every single shift of the asset, I don't know how good that is, for a lot of people. I think a lot of people, that might keep them away from this project. So for me, that's a negative here. No ecosystem currently. So like I said, really staking is really all you can do until the mainnet launches and these devs start putting some things out also to grow the ecosystem. There's not going to be really much to do with these zkAssets. But another thing was anonymous team. This one, again, personal preference. I personally don't care here, so this isn't a negative of mine, but I know that some people do care about that, so I figured I'd put that on here. And then lastly, this one, again, could just be objectively a me thing, but the security of Ethereum being a Turing-complete language and possible exploits. We do see exploits with Ethereum. I've been looking, or I should say learning, more into how a lot of that kind of stuff works. And being Turing complete basically means that Ethereum can kind of solve any problem that's coded, as long as it's coded correctly. If it can solve it, it will. So if somebody finds a hole, they can find a bug and they can exploit the contract, or we've seen this with DeFi in the past. So that's a negative for me. Again, you might not care, but I figured it's just something to bring to attention. All right, so we're through the negatives. Let's talk about the positives. So what's positive about Offshift? They did bridge to Binance Smart Chain and Moonriver, like we talked. So the trading fees are low. I like that if you're going to be on Ethereum, you at least give the option to buy the actual token with low fees. So I like that. That's great. Privacy of assets. This is obviously the main focus of the project. So of course it's a plus here. I like privacy. I like the government not watching every, move I make and worrying about my crypto, because at the end of the day, it's my crypto. It's not their crypto. So that's great. No slippage. That's a big one. I hate buying into a project and, if you end up with high slippage, you're paying 15%. Let's say you go on Pancake Swap, you're trying to buy some. Sometimes you got to put it up to 12, 13, 14, 15% slippage, and then boom, you just lost a bunch of money for basically nothing. So I like that you can shift in between these assets with no slippage in between. That's great. No worries of liquidation, and it's still new. It's a small market cap, and there's a lot of potential for the project to grow. All right, so lastly, we're just going to take a quick look at the price. I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of a price analysis. So we've seen here it pretty much bouncing in between like $4 and some to like $3, and just kind of ranging in here for quite a while until we had a break to the upside here, run up to about $22, and right now it's sitting at 20.33. The other day it went down a little bit, but what I'm thinking we're forming here is a ascending triangle. So you basically get these bounces in between the rising support and the resistance that's just the top. So then eventually you get it to where it will kind of coil up here and then break to the upside. So that's basically what I'm looking to happen here. Now, if it gets to the top and gets rejected again, it very well could come back down here to this 13 range. And if it breaks down below that, you're looking at maybe $8.50. But I think this coin's still got a lot of potential. And I also think that with the mainnet launch coming, that we'll probably see an increase in the price. I don't know why we wouldn't. So you know, that's kind of my opinion here on Offshift. I'm not going to get into any moon boy stuff and start telling you that it's going to hit $50 or whatever. You really just have to see. We can kind of measure out the triangle here. So you go from the bottom of the support to the top here. And we're looking at, you take most of the time, like I would say 70% of this target. So to be conservative, we'll say maybe 30 bucks. So $30 if we break to the upside, that's going to be my target. I don't like to give price predictions because nobody can predict the market. Anybody who tells you they know what exact date that the price of something's going to be, they don't know what they're talking about. Sorry, but that's just how it is. So, yeah, that's my prediction. About 30 bucks if we do break to the upside. That's the target that you're going to look for. Maybe you want to take profit there and see if it retests back down here at $20.50. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it here for the price analysis. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it brought a lot of useful information to kind of help you guys decide whether you want to invest in this project or not. Like I always say, make sure you guys are doing your own research and just some random dude on the internet. So just because I think something's cool doesn't mean you have to. But I also hope you guys are enjoying the PowerPoint presentations. It's something I'm just trying because I kind of like making that one that I made the other day for the one video. And I just feel like it adds a lot of more information that just looking over the website doesn't really give you. And anybody can just look at a website and make a video. And I don't want to just be like the same 65 other channels, you know. I want to do something different. So leave some feedback for me. I love to hear you guys' feedback, whether it's negative or positive. You know, I'm always open for corrective criticism. So leave your guys' feedback down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. Let me know what you think about Offshift down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to make sure you guys are here for all the rest of the future videos. I'm also going to say go follow me on hidden_crypto on Twitter because I always forget every video. I can never remember. Anyways, that's it for me today. I'll see you guys later. Until then, peace.